Our next case is Leiby versus American Title Solutions, LLC. You are here, Mr. Leiby. American Title Solutions did not file a brief, so they won't be, thank you, so they won't be arguing today. You have 15 minutes to present your argument. Since there's no one to rebut, of course, you'll just have your 15 minutes all at one point in time. I don't think in this case there's any minors, victims, or anything like that to worry about using initials for them, but if you were to have a victim or a minor you were talking about, please refer to them by initials if you would. When you are ready, and again, please don't rush. You're ready to proceed when you are. Take your time getting yourself ready.
Get a swig of water, and I think we'll be good to go.
That's it.
Is this new, this part over here?
It's been here for
Oh, I mean,
at least the last 2 years. Your time will be the top one. You'll see that counting down. Ignore the bottom two. And I'll try to let you know if you get to the bottom end. Let's get your time.
Yeah. We're ready to rock here. May it please the court, my name is Todd Leiby. I am pro se representing myself in this matter. If it would please the court, I'd like to reserve about 5 minutes at the end of my presentation here if you have any additional questions that you have that need to be answered, and I will gladly answer those questions. But for the most part, the facts of this case are simple. It's straightforward. We've already established that the lower courts apparently don't know when they're going to be closed. So that issue has been resolved. There was the issue prior where the courts were closed and I wasn't able to file my appeal, and it was decided that it was timely filed, and I thank you folks for that, and I'm glad we got that resolved. But moving forward, the fact of the matter is the lower courts have made errors again on this case, and the facts of the matter are simple. I overpaid for my property taxes for the year 2021. I also overpaid for both real estate agents' commissions for the sale of my house. The other fact is that this is my money. It may not seem like a lot of money to other people or to American Title or to the real estate agents, but this is a very substantial sum of money to me, and it is important that this money is returned to me. Because it is money that is owed to me, and had I not gone through any of these processes, this money would have been in my pocket, folks. As you know, we have been down this road before. We've had mediation. American Title, through that first process, was going to be settling, but they were only going to be settling for the real estate agent's commission part. I was not going to settle for that. I am entitled to...
Let me, in no offense, Leiby, generally speaking, courts are both about mediation and things that occur during mediation. So it's fair to say you tried to mediate and you were not successful.
Correct.
So we'll leave it at that then.
We'll leave it at that. Moving forward, we were unsuccessful with the mediation process, and the fact of the matter is that lower court has made errors. The judge not only doesn't know when her court is closed, she does not know how property taxes work. Property taxes are paid in arrears, and where the confusion I believe that the court has made was with the property taxes. In 2020, I appealed and was successful with my appeal of my property taxes. And since that was in arrears, that money that I received for the property tax year 2020 that I overpaid, I received in 2021. The lower court has mistaken that money for the amount that I am seeking in this case for my property taxes for the year 2021. I overpaid for 2 consecutive years on my property taxes. I have only received the 2020 property taxes back. 2021 was a direct result of American Title's error and negligence in the matter, and had it not been for me choosing them, and if I would have went with my buddy's title company, this would not have been a process, or not have been an issue here, because that would have been done correctly. They would have had that information, and they would have processed my property taxes correctly. There is a contract with myself and 2 other parties that were involved with the sale of my house. All these parties are in agreement as how the contract should have been executed, and American Title was secured for their escrow services, folks. They were not supposed to interpret said contract. They were merely supposed to execute it. They are in breach of that contract. As I was mentioning, the parties were in agreement that this contract stated that American Title was to have kept this money in an escrow account. Once the amount had been paid to the county for the property taxes, the reserved funds on balance would have been returned to the seller, which is myself. That money should have been returned to me, however, it was not returned to me, folks. I don't know where that money goes. American Title was not very providing, let's say, the additional seller closing statements as well for the buyers. I didn't have access to that information, so for the most part, I don't know where that money went. I can tell you the buyers do not have that money. They tied their property taxes in with their mortgage, so the banks have it. That's the best of my knowledge of where that money might potentially be at. And then what the banks do is once they've secured the mortgage, they in turn, package that and commodity it to other financial institutions. So that money's gone. Poof. I don't know where it's at. Nobody knows where it's at, and that's an issue. But the fact of the matter is, it should be in my hand. It's clear-cut in facts that the judge has made a mistake in saying that this case is moot because they're under the impression that I received the substantial money that I am seeking in regards to my property taxes, and that's clearly not the case because the property tax recoupment that I am seeking is for the property tax 2021, which American Title was responsible for. The other issue that we need to address is that the overpayment for both the real estate agents' commissions. As I mentioned before, during this process, the buyer is the one that, the seller, no, I'm the seller. The seller is the one that's responsible for both real estate agents' commissions. I had an agreement with my real estate agent prior to this for the percentage amount of the sale of the house. When it came to the actual closing statement there wasn't percentages provided, there was just an amount. I unfortunately took that amount to be accurate and signed that paperwork. I didn't have the document before me to tell me the numbers that, so I could crunch them and actually do the math. I was just under the assumption that this number was correct, and that was my error. However, the other error, or was it possibly done on purpose, was from American Title. They didn't have the correct amount. So that's clear-cut fact that that amount is inaccurate, and I overpaid on both the real estate agent's commission.
So there was a written contract, I take it, with the real estate agent to say you were going to pay what percent was going to go?
I can't even remember the percentages. It's been so long, I do not remember the percentage. It's all part of the record there, sir. I filed that, and it's in my brief as well, stating
so the record would show the contract that you signed with your real estate agent.
Correct.
Saying whatever it's supposed to be, and you could look at it and say, okay, it's supposed to be 7%, and they paid 10, or whatever they did.
You are 100% correct. So that is the prior contract that would need to supersede anything else that I signed, because that was the intent of the parties, that was the amount that was going to be paid for the house and the closing of the sale.
This was all presented to the magistrate.
Correct.
When the matter went back here at the start of the year, were there any further proceedings with the trial court, or did they just look at the record as far as you know and made a new decision?
They looked at the record and just completed their same process, that they made the same mistakes and errors as the previous case. They didn't really look at it again and actually look at the facts of the case, because if you'll notice, the defense has never submitted an appeal brief in response to these, because they know these are the facts of the case, and they know that the judge has made errors, and they're just going to roll with it, because naturally the judge has sided with them, and they don't want to, pretty much disturb anything else that's going on, and they don't want to dispute any of the facts that they think the judge has made, because they know they are in error. So these are the facts of the case. It's pretty straightforward in my opinion, and as I was saying, there's just so many numerous errors that I've addressed in my appeals brief that I'm hoping this court will take the time to look at, and also, look at that record to show that all those documents that are in there showing that these are the facts. All three parties are in agreement as to what that contract states. The lower court doesn't need to interpret any said contract. We are in agreement that, American Title should have executed that contract per the parties' wishes, and they have failed to do such. Also, the prior contracts in regards to, the real estate agent's commission, we have the set determined amount of what the percentages should have been for the closing commission of that house, and those aren't accurate as well. So, I mean, it's pretty clear cut to me, and also just on the record as well, there's a document with the lower courts that was filed when I did this case, and it's per the Ohio Revised Code 3953.52, which is the notice that there's availability of closing protection coverage on this money, okay? I opted for that option, folks. This money is protected under insurance, okay? And it is specifically for these reasons of misappropriation, fraud, or whatever you want to call this, or error. This money is protected, and it needs to be returned to me, okay? Because had I gone through anybody else, this process would have been done correctly, or had I not sold this house, I would have been whole. I would have already recouped my property tax overpayment, and I would have already never had to have overpaid on closing commissions. So the fact of the matter is, I think it's pretty straightforward that the lower court had made errors, and in my brief I support that with all the documents in the record that state that these are the facts of the case, and the lower court has erred in those facts. So if you folks have any additional questions, please feel free to ask, and I will address.
Well, we do not. You want to tell us anything else, or are you ready to?
Well, I think I'm ready to conclude. I mean, I felt it was pretty straightforward. This money is owed to me. This is my money. Nobody else cares about it because, it's not their money. So that's why I'm here, because, it is my money, and it's a substantial sum to me, and I would like that money back. And regardless of what this course does say, I just want, if anybody's from American Title, this isn't going to be over in a long shot. I think this is a deeper issue at hand here. I've been doing some digging, and I'm thinking there's criminal actions that might be coming about, and I'm going to go down that path as well, just to let this court know that I think there's a bigger issue at hand here, and I don't think it is an error per se. I think there's intent behind it, and we're going to find out going down that other path. So just to conclude on that, I think we got an issue that I got to address further down the road as well. So, but if you folks do not have any additional questions, I thank you for your time, and if you do, please feel free to ask.
I see no other questions, then, Mr. Leiby. Thank you for your presentation this morning.
Thank you, sir.
The court will take the matter under advisement, which decision in due course. Like last time, the clerk of court will mail a copy of that decision to you when it's complete, and also be available on the High Supreme Court website.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.